Hey guys, Papa B back in today with another pickup video. Recently I was down to Nova Scotia, I had a little jaunt around Halifax, Dartmouth, and up into the valley because I had to move my kid. 64-bit moved from Halifax up to Wolfville. So he's up in the valley now. We're a pretty beautiful spot up in there. And of course, whenever we get together, we have to do some thrifting. We have to check out the pawn shops. So that just means more pickups. So yes, I had to move them, and that was a lot of work, but we had a little bit of fun too. So can't wait to share with you what we found in the beautiful towns around Wolfville, Nova Scotia, and up in the valley. Here we go.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
For all your Intellivision collecting needs, check out Intellivisioncollector.com, including their newest homebrew releases, Vanguard, The Show Must Go On, Penguin Land, and Poker Risque.
Ooh la la.
Plus, coming in November 2022, Operation Cloudfire and Beachhead. That's Intellivisioncollector.com. Before we go any further, I got to do a little bit of a charitable beer here today. It's a beer that's been produced, again, by Long Bay Breweries. I'm glad I got that glass, huh? By Long Bay Breweries to help raise money for child organizations in the St. John area, and it is called OFSJ. It's a Pilsner, Operation Feed St. John. St. John, New Brunswick is the largest town in New Brunswick, about the same size as Moncton, maybe a little bit smaller now actually, but it's historically always been the largest one. And Long Bay Brewing, along with different organizations, including veterans groups, are raising money to end child poverty and make sure that no child goes hungry, that children in the St. John and surrounding areas can not focus on where their next meals are coming from, but focus on their education and focus on just being a kid. That's what it says right there on their label. So they've created this brew, this Pilsner. I was talking to them up at the brewery last week, and she was just telling me, the girl behind the counter said they do it every year. All the proceeds from this particular brew goes to this Operation Feed St. John. So it's an absolute fantastic, worthwhile cause. And if you think I'm going to dislike this one and tell you not to buy it, I think you're absolutely nuts. Because then again, I never dislike a beer, right? But I'm certainly not going to dislike this one. Coco, leave me alone. Anyway, here we go. Let's pop it open and take a look. Mercy cat. Don't make me spill my beer, kitty. Now, I had some of this on tap. I've never had the can before, though. It's got a beautiful color. Fairly light. It's a 5% Pilsner. Good head on it. We'll put the can right over here. Nice clear color. Let's have a taste. No, I'm not giving you a taste because you're annoying me. That's a good Pilsner right there. It doesn't get any better than that. And not only, I even had to wear my Kindness Matters shirt for this. I've worn it for a long time. Got it back from Yesayasha out in Haliburton, Ontario. It's to raise awareness for anti-bullying and other youth charities. A little bit of a combo. Operation Feed St. John. And of course, Kindness Matters, because it always does, right? Anyway, guys, nice beer. Please, if you have the opportunity, try it out. And if you don't have the opportunity to buy something like this, look around your own area where you live. And even just by buying a beer, sometimes you're supporting some great causes. So anyway, cheers. So, back at the beginning of September, 64-bit moved from his apartment in Halifax. Lease was up, right? Stayed there the whole time. Moved out in with somebody who's extremely patient to put up with him up in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. I won't go into it any more than that, but man, they must be some patient. Anyway, we spent all day Friday moving stuff. It's only about 45 minutes away. So the next morning we get up and it was time for a little bit of fun, because one of the things he likes to do is he goes and does his thrift run right along the valley. So I went along with him that day. And of course, I picked up some pretty neat things. So let's talk about first thing. It was at Frenchie's of all places, which I'm not a big... Frenchie's is a store. It's a thrift store that's throughout Atlantic Canada. Mostly clothing, but you never really know what you're going to find. So I walked in and there I saw it right off. And I had to get it because I love games like this. And I got to ask you right now, what it is Madden 19 for the PS4. I have got quite a few PS4 games actually. But I like collecting games that have clowns on the cover, like Kid Clown and other things. Or in this case, like Antonio Brown or whatever his name is. So when there's clowns on the cover of a game, I always am sort of drawn to it. So in the comments down below, tell me what the favorite game that you have that has a clown on the box cover. So for me, I think it's Madden 19. That is one of my favorite clowns of all time. Madden 19. Yeah, it's awesome. Found a couple other games there, though, too. And one of them is a classic PlayStation 2 Greatest Hits, Final Fantasy X. That's a good pickup. Looking inside, good condition. It's always kind of neat when you open it up. And there's a memory card inside. So that's kind of interesting, too. Overall, this is an absolutely pristine condition. So you never really know what you're going to get at a thrift shop. But this one is really nice. Not only did I get that, I also picked up a copy, again, a Greatest Hits copy of Kingdom Hearts. A very interesting game. Not a game that I've played, but a game I've looked at many, many times, thinking that would be fairly interesting. I just haven't played a whole lot of PS2 games. And I'm not focused on PS2 collecting. I do probably have 30 or 40 games of the PS2. Nothing really memorable, or notable, I should say. But when you see something like this at a thrift shop for $3 or $4, whatever it was, you have to pick it up. This one here is in pristine condition, so I mean, you got to grab it. It doesn't get any better than that. The next up is a movie that I found while I was thrifting, and to be quite honest, I don't know exactly where it was that I picked it up, but it's a very interesting film, anime movie. I can't even remember what they call it now. Studio Ghibli, I think is what it's called. And it's one that I had here as I bought it years and years and years ago after having heard about how fantastic it was. The kids are quite small, and when 64-bit moved out, he left a lot of the games and stuff to be here with me in our collection, but this is one of the things he took with him. So when I found another copy, I had to pick it up, and that is the DVD for Miyazaki's Spirited Away. If you have not seen this movie, it is very, very interesting. I'm going to call it that. It's mesmerizing. I really enjoy watching it. I'd watch it again right now. I love all those movies. I don't know even how to say it, but it's something that grabs you about these movies, like these studio... I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, there's something that grabs you about Spirited Away, and it just step to step to step as you go through the film, and it's... The best word for it is mesmerizing. So when I had the opportunity to pick this one up to replace the copy that 64-bit had taken with him, I had to grab it. Absolutely. And it's in beautiful condition. With both discs. I can't remember what the other disc was now. Bonus features, I assume. Anyway, Spirited Away. If you have not watched that movie, please, please, please check it out. Now, of course, I was complaining a minute ago about 64-bit taking movies from here, but I mean, that was a movie he grew up with as a kid and it meant a lot to him. So absolutely, in my true mind, even though I love that movie, now I have another one, he should have taken it with him because it meant so much to him. That's what, like, I love the things that I grew up with. So, but he gives me stuff all the time as well. And this really didn't mean a whole lot to him, but I really like it. And what he gave me, just from his collection, something that he had picked up, was the Mel Brooks collection. I know, my heavens, what movies are in this? It's Blazing Saddles, love it. They'd never make it today. High Anxiety, a movie that a lot of people probably aren't as familiar with. It's not one of Mel Brooks' most famous movies. Not really, but it's Alfred Hitchcock spoof, right? And I love it. It's fantastic. History of the World Part 1. I'm sorry. It's absolutely incredible. I still wish they'd make History of the World Part 2. Nazis on Ice.
Hey, Hitler on ice!
Robin Hood Men in Tights is a classic. Dave Chappelle is incredible in that movie. Silent Movie is one I'm really not all that familiar with. I should put that in right now. Same as the 12 Chairs. To Be or Not to Be, which was the black and white one he did with his wife, right? Anne Bancroft. And finally, the all-time classic. It doesn't get any better than this. Young Frankenstein. Now, I've got some autographed pictures of Gene Wilder and Young Frankenstein, and I simply adore that movie. It came out when I was 6 years old. I didn't see it for years after that, but it is endless. It's timeless. It is as funny and as effective today as it was in 1974, I think it was, when it came out. Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein were around the same time. They were probably back to back from Mel Brooks. And overall, God love him, Mel Brooks is, 97 or 96 years old right now, still going strong. And God bless him, he made some incredible movies, and maybe they wouldn't be politically correct in this day and age, but I don't necessarily think that's a good thing, that they're not politically correct. Because I'm sorry, the satire that he did in these movies are as positive towards the things that would offend people today, much more positive towards them than it is negative. But anyway, that's just my opinion. And if you like the movies, watch them. If you don't like the movies, don't watch them. But if you don't watch them, you're missing out. So, Mel Brooks Collection, thank you, Connor, for giving me that one. I love it.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
Alright, so that's about it for the stuff that I picked up during the run up and down the valley. But on the way back, when I was heading home, I swung over into Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Unfortunately, I didn't get an opportunity to meet up with Graphic God, fellow Gamers United Guild member, because he was tied up. There was a big concert that night in downtown Dartmouth and he couldn't get away that evening. It was April Wine, I think, we're playing. I had to ask him who was playing. Down on the waterfront in Dartmouth. As I drove through, I noticed it was really, really busy down there. But I went out to a place that I'd heard of many, many times, and I visited in Truro, Nova Scotia, and I've had pickup videos from there. I don't know which one it is. I'll put the little clip up here from that pickup video. But I went to Most Wanted Pawn in Dartmouth. I had heard the commercials on the radio so many times, but I'd never been there. And oh my God, it was just a fantastic place to go and just browse around. I mean, yes, they had some great games, but the stuff I saw full-scale arcade machines were in there. I'm not into the tools, but any tool you could want. There was an entire big music section, which I didn't even go into. And the video game sections, they had Atari, they had PS4, they had every system going there. And they had a great selection of Xbox games. And of course, as you know, as I'm up over 800 games, it's very difficult to find games that I actually still need. So when I can go through the pile of games that they have and still pick out 10, I've got 10 games here. I'm going to try to go through them quite quickly. That is a good selection to have. So Most Wanted Pawn, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, or any of the ones around Nova Scotia, or PEI too, I think they have them. You really should check it out. It's fantastic, and you can get some really good deals. I thought they treated me very well. Anyway, here's the first one. I am not going to do any gameplay of this one for you. I might put some gameplay up on the screen here, but I mean, I'm not going to do a video of old guys, old games, me playing this game. It's Karaoke Revolution Party, because you don't need that. You don't want to see that, I'm telling you right now. But I needed it, and the disc is mint. The manual's mint. There's just a receipt or something in there. And the case is in great shape, so great addition. Next, I've got Sega GT 2002. Interesting because there's quite a few different variations of this game, including the one that comes with, Jet Set Radio. And also, there's on Sega GT Online. But I didn't have this one, just the plain old Sega GT2. Racing games are huge on the Xbox system, and they're all very good. And this one's very good. There's nothing that makes it really stand out compared to other ones. Like, some of them are really fantastic. The Burnouts that I had a few videos ago, a Burnout series is amazing. The Outrun series is amazing. There's just so many. Solid game. Just doesn't really stand out too much. And this particular one, let's see, I had a fantastic edition. How do you beat that? And they gave me such a good deal there. They had a special on, what was it? Buy one, get one half price. And if you bought a $19.99 game, you could get a $19.99 game for half price. Match them up 2-2. They didn't take I bought 10 games. They didn't take the 5 lowest price and give them to me for half price. They matched them up, which was incredible, because that's just the way it should be. Because I was all set to make them do separate entries. I was going to say, okay, I'll pay for these two to save them. They didn't even quarrel with it. They just did it the right way, the way they should. Anyway, next up is a game I have the limited edition of, but I didn't have the regular edition. It's Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf. And this is a mech game. Lots of mech games on the Xbox. This one's only on the Xbox, and Xbox exclusive. And again, though, fantastic edition. They had 3 or 4 copies of this there. I hadn't seen all the ones I see are limited edition. I hadn't seen this regular one. They had 3 or 4 of them, and this one was pristine, beautiful condition. So really happy to have that one finally, because those little variants are difficult to find, difficult to ensure that you get the right ones. But next up, we have Soldier of Fortune 2 Double Helix. First-person shooter. Soldier of Fortune is a very famous game. I mean, it was the one that sort of brought in Saddam Hussein was in it, for Pete's sake. Seems to me that was the one when it's niche when it first came out. I'm going to be quite honest. I may never ever play this game because there are so many like it and so many that I don't know that are better. Maybe they're not better. Maybe this is better. But I've played them and I've played enough. I like some different stuff. It's not my favorite genre in the world, the first-person shooter, more because of my age, though, than anything, because I'm just not into it. 64-bit, for example, grew up, he loved Call of Duty, played it online and stuff like that, and I was never of that era. If I was, I would probably appreciate this a little bit more than I do, but one thing I do appreciate is this collectability, and the fact that I couldn't find it after 800 games. I am still finding ones that I need, including Soldier of Fortune 2, and I was very happy to pick it up. Next up, this game was weird because I had the opportunity to pick up 2 or 3 times, but there's always something weird about it that made me not. Missing a manual, disc was scratched, wrong version. I don't know, but this game, it should be everywhere, you would think. It's Shark Tale, the green box version. I have the greatest hits version, platinum hits version, but I just didn't have this original version. And this was in pretty good shape, and it was cheap. It was very cheap. It was like $2.50. So how do you beat that, right? So, really happy to have that. Kids adventure game. I like games like this. I'm sorry, they're fun to play. Will I ever play from start to finish? Probably not. But play it a little bit? You bet. There's nothing wrong with that at all. They're great games. Now, this game is sort of weird because I wouldn't think these games would be that hard to find, but I found that they're very difficult to find, actually. And that is the Pac-Man World games. Pac-Man World 3 I picked up. Great shape. Manual, disc. No problems there. But for whatever reason, Pac-Man 2, Pac-Man 3, I found Pac-Man 2 for the Platinum Hits, but I could never find the regular Pac-Man 2, and I still haven't, I don't believe. But I've got 3 finally. I was really surprised to see it, because it's not like this is one that I see, but I decide not to get it because it's not in good shape. I never friggin' see it. So I was really happy to have that one. I can remember playing the Pac-Man adventure games like later on, back in the late 90s. I think it must have been on the PlayStation 1. Really enjoyed them, frankly. I really enjoyed them. They're fun games to play. No, it's not original Pac-Man. It's trying to merge it with newer technology. But at the end of the day, it's cool. And it's really fun. What more am I going to say, right? Now, the next one's a third-person fighting adventure game, Future Tactics: The Uprising. The big thing about this one, it's another one of these ones that I just simply never seen. I looked it up in my sheet, in my list, in my app, and it's like, oh, I don't even remember looking at that one before. So it was really cool to find a game like that. Inexpensive too, $5. How do you beat that, right? So, will I play it? Probably. I probably will play it a little bit. Very cartoonish on the cover, but I think that is a style of the game as well, as sort of an animated, cartoony type feel. It's not trying to be a realistic run and gun action fighter. Third person is trying to be a cartoony feel. So very interesting, and I'm anxious to try this one out. Take your turn saving the world. Yeah, because everybody should do that now and again, right? Next up is a game that's sort of funny because I like this place. Most Wanted Pawn come up to me, and the guy said after he went to sort them all out, because the cases are up on the shelf, but he has to go put the discs in them. And he said the disc is not in good shape, so I can't sell you this one. I don't want to sell it to you because you're just going to bring it back if it doesn't work or whatever like that. And I said I appreciated that very much, but at the end of the day, I got it because I do have a resurfacer myself for my games. So I said I can do it myself, and I'm more than happy because I hadn't found it before, and it's Sonic Mega Collection Plus. Again, a combination of compilation disc with, let's see, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3D Blast, and Sonic and Knuckles. So the disc wasn't in very good shape, but the case was pretty good. The manual is pretty good. I can resurface the disc, and I can check one off my list. So very happy to have this one, and I haven't actually tried it yet to see if it would work, but if it won't work, I'll resurface it. But he told me about it. I have no complaints. I decided to take it anyway, and I appreciated the fact that he said that to me. He just didn't sell it to me and walk away, right? So that's a good place to buy games from when they're honest like that. So it's great. Anyway, Sonic Mega Collection Plus. Here's another one that's a variant type situation. I have Namco Museum 50th Anniversary Collection, but I didn't have the plain old Namco Museum. At least not in the green box version. Fine condition, inexpensive. How do you get better gameplay for classic arcade games? Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Pole Position. What was it? Miss Pac-Man, Super Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian. Fantastic. Those are great games. These compilation discs are wonderful, whether it's the Sonic one or the Namco ones. I really enjoy them. There's all kinds of them, right down to When Television Lives, which is probably my absolute favorite compilation disc of all time on all these different systems. But anyway, it was nice to finally add this one. It closes the door on that bunch. I could have played the game already. I think I had the Platinum hits. I had the 50th anniversary, and now I have the regular one. Seems repetitive, but hey, I just love collecting, and this is an awesome game. So the last game that I got from Most Wanted Pawn in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, is the most expensive one, or the most highest price one, I should say, that was left on my list that I found in this group, and that is iNinja. The stuff out here is just stickers. I'll clean that up. I'll probably clean up these cases very soon. But this is just like a action-adventure, cartoony type game. Manual is thick, but it's in really good shape. Disc is in good shape. Case, nothing wrong with it, just some stickers which I could take off, but really happy to add it. I've seen it a few different times in horrible condition and never picked it up. This is not this is a decent condition, I would say. Certainly fine enough for my collection, and of all the games I picked up at Most Wanted Pawn, this is the most valuable one of the bunch. So really happy with all the games that I picked up at Most Wanted Pawn, and really can't wait to go back there again someday. Take a look. It's just so big, so much stuff. I don't know how much stuff goes through, how much games like this rotate. They rotate around a lot less in all pawn shops now than they used to. But at the end of the day, man, what a great assortment of games. Really happy and recommend if you get the opportunity to visit Most Wanted Pawn. Well, guys, that's it for today's pickups. Great batch of games here from Most Wanted Pawn. Other stuff that for our trip up and down the valley on his thrift runs. And believe me, every once in a while I get messages from him saying, "Hey, look what I found! Look what I found!" I think today, the day I'm recording this, I got the message from him. He found a box copy of Ninja Gaiden 2 for the original NES, and I found a box copy of, I don't know what it was, some other game. It was like, oh my god! Oh. And there was like Metroid Prime for the GameCube. Incredible. But anyway, that day we didn't find all that much, but still got some neat games and a great movie. So it doesn't get better than that, and that's for the pawn shop, Most Wanted Pawn. Great batch of pickups right there. I've hit a lot of the places in Atlantic Canada now, and even the state of Maine. And we're getting closer and closer to that magic Xbox library completion all the time. I think that puts me well over, I am well over 800. There aren't 900, so man, can't wait to keep working away and getting the rest. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with Coco and I here today. Coco is all worked up here, as you can tell. She's so excited. Yeah. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next pickup video. You take care.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age.
And remember, one last thing. Kindness matters. See ya.